Afternoon, everyone. Thank you once again. You are listening to WCEG Network. We are the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group where we speak life to the community. Log in to WCEGTalkRadio.com or you can watch us live on your smart TV, on the Roku cable channel, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. I am Vincent Cheeks, the host of Conversations in Education for the next hour. Please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel, WCEG Network. Like us on Facebook, Instagram. Connect with us on LinkedIn, TikTok, and Threads. You can download our free WCEG mobile app, or you can just say, Alexa, play WCEG Talk Radio. She'll get us right on the airway. We have 12 podcast distribution platforms. And last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and the guests and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support, everyone. All right, I'm going to make a few brief announcements, and then I'm going to introduce my guest to get right into the topic at hand today. So the first announcement is I've been speaking about this for the past 4 years, Capturing the Spirit of Oakland, which happens the last 2 weeks of October. It starts this coming Thursday, October 17th at 5 p.m. I'm super excited to be a part of this production again. It is a family-friendly educational event, and you learn a lot about the history of the city of Atlanta and the people who created it and paved the way for a lot of us who live here today. So again, Capturing the Spirit of Oakland starts this Thursday, October 17th, runs through October 27th. So it's the Thursday through Sunday, last 2 weeks of October. You can go to OaklandCemetery.com, capturing the spirit of Oakland with an underscore between each word. So OaklandCemetery.com / capturing the spirit of Oakland with a line, dash mark, underscore between each word. And I will get that to everybody again in 1 minute. Also, I would like to thank everyone who came out to support the production back on September 21st at Southview Cemetery, where we told the story of the 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre. If you do not know about the 1906 Atlanta Race Massacre and you live in the city of Atlanta, even if you don't live in the city, I strongly suggest you research this historical event. It is one of the earliest historical events that shaped the city of Atlanta into what it is today. So it's a tragic story, but it is still history, and it needs to be learned and should be taught. But again, thank you to everyone who came out to support us and to support me, especially Mr. Kenny, Crystal, and Deeply Chocolate. I definitely appreciate you all coming out to support. We are in voting season, so make sure get out and make sure your voice is heard. Cast your vote for whatever candidate you feel is best, and then we'll get the results. I believe November 5th, 6th, somewhere around there. And last but not least, I would like to make a correction. In my opening, I said you're listening to WCEG Network. I should have said you're listening to the new award-winning WCEG Network, as my producer Penny was inducted into the National Black Radio Hall of Fame last month on September 21st. So congratulations once again to you, Penny. I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of the work that all the hosts at WCEG puts in. It does not go in vain, and we love giving back and serving our community. So yes, so congratulations, Penny. Keep up the good work, and y'all sit back, continue to support and watch us grow. Greatly appreciated. So with that being said, we're going to dive right into the show. Oh, hold on. Make sure you check your voting status and your polling status. A lot of people doing some funny finagling with the politics out there. And so you want to make sure you are registered to vote. Make sure your name hasn't been stricken off any rolls unnecessarily. Because redistricting in politics is real. So you can check your voting status and polling status at www.mvp.sos.ga.gov. Again, that's mvp.sos.ga.gov. And nationally, you can go to imavoter.com. imavoter.com. So do what you feel is best for you, your family, in your area. All right, let's dive right into my guest. I want to introduce her. She is a motivational speaker. She is a poet, and you wouldn't know it, she's a recovering drug addict. So please help me welcome Miss LaTonya Lucas to the show.
Yay.
Hi, LaTonya. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing amazing.
You look amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on WCEG Network Conversations in Education. I don't know if I told you this, but we are in our 9th season, LaTonya, but you are my first Florida guest.
Oh,
So
wow.
thank you for being my
Yes,
first Florida
snap it up.
guest. Yes. We met back earlier this year. I want to say it was Martin Luther King weekend.
Yes.
And I was doing some community work with another organization, and I happened to meet you, and we hit it off.
We connected.
We connected right away.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, I think that's because you have such a genuine, authentic spirit.
Wow.
So let's
So
get
do
into your
you.
story. Let's get into your story because you have a pretty amazing testimony, if you will. So can you please tell our listening audience about your testimony and how was it that you came to be addicted to drugs?
Well, my name is LaTonya Lucas, and of course, as he has stated, I am a recovered drug addict, and my story is deep. But it is fascinating, hopeful, and amazing. I was raised in the projects of Chicago, Robert Taylor Projects, called the Black Belt. I come from a family of drug dealers, gang bangers, prostitutes, pimps, and such like.
All of that. All of these, huh?
The above.
Okay.
And so in 1980, I'm trying to see my first year. My drug of choice was crack cocaine. And
Okay.
in 1980, 87, is because that's when the crack cocaine came out on the scene and it destroyed communities, people's families, and the society didn't know what to do with it because it hit like a tsunami. And me and my family was part of that epidemic. And so I stayed on drugs. I started using drugs in 1987, and it turned into a really big horror show. And from losing my home, being homeless with my kids going to DCFS, anything that you could think of that happened in the drug scene. My house was a crack house, and I was clean and sober for 22 years, and then I kaboom. Messed around and relapsed. Like, God damn, what was she thinking?
Language. Let's watch the language.
Am I supposed to not cuss? Okay.
No, no, ma'am. Please. It's a family friendly show.
Okay.
We appreciate your passion.
Okay, well, that's all I would say. That's what I said. Like, God damn, what happened? And so got involved, with the wrong person. And I messed around and went into relapse. And I think the most favorable thing about that relapse is that I knew what it was like to be clean and sober. And I enjoyed that life. I mean, I had everything that I wanted in life, like money, cars, or whatever. But I enjoyed being clean and sober, and I knew that I had to get back to that level. And so one day I was watching uh infomercial, and I had just come off of being, and the guy on TV he said, and I'm sitting in front of the TV, he was like, "Are you a drug addict?" I was like, "You talking to me?" He talking to me? And I said yes to the TV. And the
Okay.
man said, huh?
I said, okay, I'm listening.
He said, take this number. And so I took the number, and I called, and the guy, he told me, he said, well, you need $6,000. I was like, I don't have no $6,000. And so I was always talking to the Lord in the midst of my second run of drug addiction. I know you can get me off of this. I know you can help me. Please help me. I'm just begging, I'm journaling, I'm doing everything, talking to God. And so in the midst of my, turmoil, God spoke to me and he said, write this. And whatever he told me to text, I texted to that man, and that man called me back. And he said, Miss Lucas, another man called me back, and he said, I heard that you are a drug addict. I said, yes, sir. He said, can you be on the plane tomorrow? And I was like, what? Can I be on the plane tomorrow? The intervention of God is amazing. He'll meet you in your mess.
Right.
And
Okay.
and that's exactly what I know. And he had I was like, well, not tomorrow, but give me Wednesday and I'll be on that plane. And when I tell you I was up in the sky coming to Florida, that's what I did. And I
Okay.
never looked back because it's a whole lot of other stuff in between that, but it'll
Right.
come in the book. But
It'll come in the book. We'll be looking out for the book then.
yes.
Okay, so you said a whole lot. You said a whole lot. So
Mhm.
I want to go back to the very beginning. What was the instant, the event, the catalyst that had you try drugs for the first time? Was it friends and peer pressure, or was it the curiosity you just had? What was it?
Well, being raised in a community that I was raised in, smoking weed was the norm. We all, got what they call a $5 bag, and it was like 5 joints in there, and we were smoking weed. And then, one thing led to another because it was the framework and the way the community was set up. And so everybody in my family started smoking crack. When crack
Oh
came out on
wow.
the scene, you know, everybody was like, here, try this, and I tried it. And that was the catalyst that sent me off into a career of substance abuse for a moment.
Okay. And how long were you before you got clean the first time? How long were you a substance
I
abuse?
started in 87 and I got off in 91, 87. So about what, 7 years, something like that. 87, 8, 9, 9, 9,
87, 91.
4 years.
Okay.
It was a 4 year run, but so much stuff had happened in between those 4 years.
Okay. And I know you said you lost your home. You had to deal with the Department of Children and Family Services.
Yeah.
So how did somebody report you? How did DCF get involved, and how did you get to the point of losing your home
The
and losing?
last time I was pregnant with my last child, and I was smoking crack with her.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so when I went to the hospital, I let them know that I was a crack addict and that they need to do whatever they could do to, save the baby.
Okay.
And that's when DCFS got involved because she had needed to be on a respirator, and I had to take, uh one of those breathing machines home with me and all that kind of stuff like that. So yeah.
Was her lungs damaged or something?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so when defects came in and they got involved, what did they tell you had to get cleaned up, or they were just going to take your child? How did that unfold?
Okay, so when we were at the hospital, because we were homeless,
Okay.
me and my kids were homeless.
How
And
many
so
children?
when,
How many children?
huh,
How
five,
many? Five children. Okay.
five children. That was a lot.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it was tough out there. I'm telling you, my goodness.
That's a
We are looking
basketball
at a
team.
miracle for real.
Yeah. Okay. And so you're homeless. You're pregnant. So the one child you were pregnant with, that was number five.
Number 5.
Okay. So you were pregnant with number five. You went into the hospital and told them your situation. Did they try to? Was it the hospital that got you on the road to recovery, or the DCF?
Yeah, pretty much because they all let us stay at the Ronald McDonald House at the time,
Okay.
because she was they knew I was homeless, so they wanted to find a place for me and the kids to stay, and they needed a stable place for her. So, but the Ronald McDonald House was not long term.
Okay.
So I didn't have nowhere to take them, and they didn't have like a shelter, and my situation was just bad. It was
Right.
my husband and I that were drug addicts.
Oh
I had
wow.
a husband at the
Oh wow.
time, and so they came in and they whisked the kids away, and that was a turning point in my life.
So your children actually did go into state care for a time?
They did, and they were all together, except my last baby that was born addicted to crack. They
Okay.
put her in a special needs program.
Okay. And so you only had one child that was affected by your drug use. The last.
Yeah, uh-huh. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
They
That's
all were affected, but she was the only one that was affected in the womb.
in the womb. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. But I'm pretty sure just the impact of everything you were going
Oh
through
my
had
gosh.
negative impact on everybody. Wow. But I don't recall you telling me that you were married
I
during
was
all this.
married at the
So
time. I had a husband.
and
He was a
so
crackhead too, so he couldn't do nothing.
right. What was the daily life like with you and your husband and your five children being on the streets? Like, how are you surviving on a daily basis?
When me and my husband went on the streets, he had, let me see, when my husband and I became homeless, the kids were already on DCFS care.
Okay.
Yeah, they was in DCFS care
And how long were they in DCFS?
for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, because they found us a place to stay. And
Okay.
this is the time in the 80s when they had, well, this was in 1991,
Okay.
and this is when they had all kind of source refund resource money, because they wanted to help. So they sent the whole team in, an
Okay.
amazing team to
Okay.
help me and my family. They put the
Okay.
kids in daycare. They sent us
Okay.
to treatment. They made sure that we had, I mean, I guess they had buku money because they really put that money out for me and my family, and it worked.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a blessing. That's
Yeah.
absolutely a blessing. Glad you all were able to turn this situation around. So was it so you and your husband went to recovery?
Yes.
Okay. And so you all were in recovery together. So or did you all stay together or did you
Yeah,
all
we
went through
stayed
split?
in we continued to stay together. Um After recovery, which is so strange, we ended up divorcing.
So you got divorced after y'all
Yeah.
wait. So y'all went through drug addiction, you went through losing a home, you went through dealing with DCFS.
Baby born, crack addicted.
Nobody, right? Nobody wants to deal with DCFS, and you had to
Right.
deal with a baby who was born addicted to cocaine.
Yes.
And you all stayed together. You were able to tough it out, weather the storm, and make it through all of that mess. But then once you go through recovery and you get clean and sober, that what caused the relationship to break up? Or was it other
Well,
outside?
okay, just interject infidelity into it.
Okay, okay. Enough said. Enough said. Okay. I just thought that was okay. That makes more sense. Uh,
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, I mean, because it didn't make sense to me either. It was like, what? You know.
okay. So about the recovery, I've always heard that if you put somebody in recovery, if they're not ready for recovery, then it's not going to work. So you and your husband were ready at this time to get clean and sober.
Yeah, we were ready because it was a team of people that they sent in our lives. I know for me, the team of people, the help, because I was always, like I said, if I go back down my history, I was raised, it's like I wash your back and you wash my back. I never had anybody who would just say, "Hey, we want to help you. We want to give to you. We want to show you." It's so much unconditional love from the system to help you and your family to get off of these drugs. And I was in disbelief, but then they were like angels sent to me.
That's pretty amazing. I've never heard of. First of all, I've never heard of a team being
Yeah, this
sent
is a
to
team.
help to help someone. But you're
Like Black Hawks, boom, they came in kicking in windows.
but you're speaking so glowingly of people that help turn your life around, and I don't think I've ever heard this level of admiration for the
Oh
people
my
that
gosh,
you
I
help.
walk in gratitude.
That's excellent.
I
That's
am
wonderful.
so grateful to be off of drugs. I am so grateful to give back to the community. I mean, because drugs, death, drugs, homelessness,
Yeah.
drugs, no job, drugs, mental illness.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't want that.
That's a lot. That's a lot of heaviness
I don't want it.
to be going through. So um, I know before when we talked about you spoke to me about losing a child.
I
Um,
did.
which can you talk about that a little bit and how?
Yeah. This was in the midst of my 22 years of being clean and sober.
Okay.
My daughter, she got addicted to crack cocaine. She was 20, 21.
Now is this the one that was born?
No, no, no. This is my
No.
firstborn child.
Okay.
And she was 21 years old and she got addicted to drugs. And I don't know why come I didn't see it, I mean, because she came home with all the signs and the symptoms and being crazy. But I'm such a big nurturer until it's just like, okay, let me fix you some pancakes and eggs, let me cook you something, and you get some rest, and I'll wash your clothes, and then she'll wake up like a bear, like, oh. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know that she needed to go out there and get some drugs. And I was like, girl, you need to go back out there where you was. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And so one day the people came knocking at my door and they asked me, was I LaTonya Lucas? And I told them, yeah. And I'm like, I got all these people. I got four people, and mind you, they was white people and with big badges on their chest. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why y'all here? And
Right.
they said, man, we need to step in. And I'm always a kind person.
Right.
And they said, there's been a homicide. And I didn't even know what a homicide. I knew what it was, but I had no reason to keep it in my vocabulary
Right.
and
Right.
in my thoughts.
Right.
I was just like an airhead. And they said, well, do you know? I was like, when they asked me, did I know what DeAndre Lucas? I was like, yeah, that's my baby. And then they turned around and said there's been a homicide. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then they looked at each other and they was like, she's not getting it. And so they
Right.
stepped up to me in my face. They said, ma'am, there's a body at the morgue by the name of DeAndre Lucas who registered back to you as the mom, and you need to go down there and identify her body.
Oh wow.
And that's when I got the message.
And how did that settle in? How did that sink in? Like how did you react in that moment when you realized what they were saying?
Okay, so when they left, I immediately fell down on my knees and prayed. And I said, Lord, I know it's her because fingerprints don't lie. I said, but if you could just help me get through this, I don't want to have to be I told him, this is my prayer. I said, I know people have had to be, like tranquilized. I use the word tranquilized, even just go see the person that they lost. And,
Right.
grief is really hard. And I said, Lord, just please help us get through this. And as I was getting up off of my knees, I said to the Lord, I said, and I look forward to you healing my heart
Oh,
in the
wow.
end. So um I would never want to go through it again, but he gracefully moved me through my daughter's, death.
Wow. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Was there any type of feelings of regret or feelings of things that you could have done better to maybe prevent that, or no?
Me and Deandra had a we had a beautiful relationship. She knew about my past drug addiction. We didn't do drugs together. We didn't do any of that. She knew, she got caught up because drug addiction is not prejudice. It will hit anybody,
Right.
black, white, rich, poor, the daughter, the son,
Right.
the parent can be off of drugs. It does like you smoke, you shoot, I got you. Because the devil is out to get anybody.
Hmm. Yeah, you said a mouthful in. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But you said something interesting to me just now. You said that your daughter knew that Deandra, is that right? Deandra?
Deandra.
You said Deandra knew about your previous drug addiction.
Yeah,
You still fell into that same pitfall.
she
I
did.
I had a situation where my situation was opposite, because I think I told you that my dad was addicted
Oh,
to crack
yeah.
for about, I don't know, 15 to 20 years. It was a long time that he was on drugs, but his situation and him, me knowing what he was going through and dealing with, actually kept me from getting involved with drugs and crack when I was in seventh grade. Um,
Right.
I was in seventh grade when I had the opportunity to. I was presented with the opportunity to sell crack in the seventh grade. And what happened was we were at the bus stop first thing in the morning going to school, and I saw he was like the neighborhood bully, and
Right,
he
right.
was counting like a wad of money. We were in seventh grade. He had a wad like this thick, and he caught me looking at his money. He like waved me over
Wow.
to come to him, and I thought he was going. He was known for beating people up. I thought he was going to try to fight. But he was like, I saw you looking at my money. I was like, yeah. He said, you want to know how you can make this? I said, yeah. And he reached in his pocket and he pulled
Yeah.
out three little crack rocks in the palm of his hand.
Mhm.
And I looked at it, and for some reason, it looked like death to me. Like it didn't look pleasant or appealing.
Yeah, the
Right,
pale horse.
right. And then as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about all these stories I've heard about my father, and it just came over me like, nah, I don't want to get involved with that. So I looked at him and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. He was like, you sure? Because most people ain't gonna turn down an opportunity to make a stack of money. And he was like, you sure? Looked at the money,
Right,
and I looked at the drugs, looked at the money again, and I was like, nah, I'm good, brother. I'm good. And I walked away, and I'm really glad that I did, because I can't imagine where my life would have ended up if I would have started selling crack in seventh grade. Like I couldn't even imagine. So it's just hearing your perspective, and you saying that your daughter knew about your situation and it still happened upon her.
right.
I think it's just a really tragic situation. I wish more people would learn from other people's stories instead of having to go through it
Yeah,
themselves. I think it
yeah.
makes the world a much better place. But again, I offer you my prayers and condolences on losing a daughter. I mean, nobody ever
Oh, thank
loses
you.
a child before they leave. So that's just even more of a testament to your strength
Yeah.
that you've displayed to me ever since I met you. So
Oh, yeah.
kudos to you. Kudos to you. Um, Do you have any long-term side effects from being a substance abuser for that amount of time?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Not that I know of.
I wouldn't say so either.
I
Just
haven't experienced any kind of mental illness. You know,
okay.
no.
All right.
I don't
So
take any kind of medication.
that's good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And so,
Um,
no,
so let's talk a little bit about no limit recovery. So
no limit recovery.
what exactly is no limit recovery?
No limit recovery was found. God inspired me to do it. It's a organization that it's a faith-based organization, and where I go out and I speak against substance abuse. And I have a little curriculum, and I just go out there and share my testimony. And it's amazing work what I do, and so it's more like living an abundant life in recovery. So
Okay.
it's just not about the horror stories. It's about living an abundant life in recovery, because I'm a firm believer that, you know, nobody told you that you had to be a drug addict and stay a drug addict. So
Right.
we do have the opportunity. The doors can be pretty heavy to push open to move into, as they would call, a normal life, right?
Right. 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 Right.
But it's amazing when a person so that's what no limit recovery is about. It's a stand against substance abuse. Hey, I want to encourage people to stay off of drugs. And I mean, because anybody on drug have a horror story. I don't care how they put it. I don't care what they say. It is a downer for real.
Okay.
So living an abundant life doesn't mean that we're going to be rich or famous or whatever. No, it means that I'm going to learn to live life on life terms. I'm going to watch my conscience. I'm going to watch my soul, which my soul consists of my will, my mind, and my emotions. And I am the gatekeeper with Christ Jesus of that. I need to know the warning signs, and I have to have a desire to live an abundant life. My last conversation with a group of people was the infancy of recovery. I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you what you can expect in these things, and how we can overcome some things. So I'm a person that's very informed. I'm experienced. I got years on me, so I
Okay.
put it out there, in the most amazing way, until I want to see people lives transform.
Right. And so and that's it's amazing to me that you're able to pull yourself out of that darkness
Yeah.
to be the person that you are today. So why is it important for you to help others in their recovery?
It's important for me to help people in that recovery, because I know the pit that they're in. It's just a form of darkness, and drug addiction will leave a person to believe that they cannot get off of it, because there's something in the brain that keeps saying, give me more, give me more, give me more.
Right.
Or they don't know how to handle situations, or they got dealing with abandonment issues, or they're dealing with anger, or they're living on the streets, and they don't have hope. They don't have hope, they don't have faith, and this is some things that, I gotta come. I gotta let my light shine, and
Okay.
I gotta let them know, hey,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
it's
like that. I
a
like the
brand.
visual with that too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I like that. I like that. Now you just mentioned something about life is going to happen, right?
Yes,
And
life's gonna happen.
I caught one of your videos because you have a YouTube channel,
I
and
do.
I caught the YouTube video that you did 2 days ago. And in that video, you said, um, when life happens, don't run to drugs. And then you followed that up by saying, one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. Can you
No,
break
that's
that
true.
down for me, please? Because that's a profound statement.
And it's found in the Alcoholic Anonymous book, where they
Okay.
always say in the meeting, one is too many. That means that if you have been an active drug addict and you decide, hey, I got this thing on point, and I'm able to go back out there and smoke me a little bit, shoot me a little bit. When I tell you that demon gonna come calling, like,
Right. Yeah.
there she is.
Now come
There
back
she
out the
is.
shadows. Yeah.
One is too many, and 1,000 is never enough because the drug demon comes right back.
Yeah.
When I was off of drugs for 22 years and I relapsed, I went back to the same person that LaTonya used to be, geeking and wanting more. And, I used to call myself a sophisticated drug addict. I had a job. I go and do my own drug. But, baby, all that stuff went out the door. The house turned into a crack house and everything. So one is too many, 1,000 is never enough. And going back to drugs, if a drug addict who have practiced recovery is not an option, they shouldn't do it because
Right.
it's going to catch them right back up. They shouldn't teeter-totter. I don't even think they should teeter-totter with drinking because
Right.
once the mind is altered,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
drug addiction, the drug demon comes back. And I just want to say this right quick. There's a scripture in the Bible, I forget, I forget where it's at. And but it talks about how a demon had entered into how a demon had left the man. And
Okay.
when the demon was roaming around, the dark spirit was roaming around, and then he said, I'm gonna go back to where I came from. And the Bible says when he went back to that soul, he found it, first of all, he found it empty, he
Okay.
found it garnished, and he
Mm.
found it swept. Now, the main thing that got me is that he found it empty.
Right.
Because the person has to find something, they got to find Jesus, they got to find hope, they got to find faith, they got to be like, come on, walk. They
Got the
got to
answer.
feel that emptiness
Yeah.
because relapse is possible.
Right. And you said in the video from 2 days ago, you said an unclean spirit is always looking for a soul that's empty. I thought that was pretty profound too.
Always looking for a soul to get into. It's got
Yeah.
to have a host to work in.
Right. Right. Um, wow, that's deep. Um, I can really
And I
appreciate.
attribute it to drug addiction.
Say that again.
I attribute it to drug addiction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the same thing with relapse. If the person gonna relapse, if I relapse, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm in freaking trouble.
And going back to your relapse, because you keep saying you were clean and sober for 22 years, and even me hearing something like that, if somebody that's clean and sober for 22 years, I would automatically think that, well, they're pretty stable. That verse you were talking about is Luke 8:26 through 39. If
Okay,
anybody
yeah.
out there. Um, and now I forgot the question I was about to say. Oh, your relapse. If you told me when I met you during your 22 years of clean and sober that I've been clean and sober for 22 years, I would say that's great. You're really anchored and you're set in your sobriety, and you're good to go. Now, I wouldn't think that someone who's been clean and sober for 22 years could relapse. So what was the catalyst for the relapse? Because I would
Long Island iced tea.
think your relapse after 22 years of sobriety was because you decided to have a Long Island iced tea.
And it was so good.
And
Okay. And I was drinking it and I was like, oh, this tastes so good. I was good drink. Oh, bubbly and everything. And then I was with this guy. He was a crackhead. And he was going in the streets. And I was like, oh, you ain't got to go into the streets. You can smoke in the garage.
Bringing it closer to into
I
your.
set myself up, and that's why I set myself up, and I was in the garage smoking too with the Long Island iced tea. So we we relapse is possible on every level, and that's why an addict has to be really careful, because if it's around, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, just the thought of that, it is a pretty, and I'm glad you can laugh about it now.
It was a precondition to me relapsing. They got to understand what the prerequisite is for relapsing.
Right. And so to be clear, so you stay away from alcohol and everything.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm proud of you.
Me too.
You always hear how the phrase goes, once an addict, always an addict.
Yeah.
And so you put yourself in positions and situations where you're going to be tempted.
It's a possibility. And when the emotions get weak, or they find themselves in a relationship with somebody they think that they love, and it was kind of based on that, and trying to keep a person from no, go back now, but no, we always have to have our warning, what you call it, do inner dialogue with our soul and watch what's really going on with us as an individual. That goes like if they lose a person, somebody died close to them, and usually an addict, when a problem arises, the comfort thing to do was to drink or get high.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're trying to stop something, you shouldn't latch on to another fight or something
Because
else.
you usually end up to your drug of choice. I don't care if it's pills, they be trying to say, oh, I take pills, or they want to compare, at least I'm not a crackhead, but you're an alcoholic, there's something wrong with your liver.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people are quick to self-medicate.
They want to, and that's in the drug addiction framework.
Okay.
Because people can't drink socially and stuff like that. But if a person was used to doing that, well, I never want to put myself in that position again.
Yeah.
I love who I am.
Right. And alcohol is a drug too. No matter how legal it is or how long it's been legal, it is a mind altering.
Yeah, you see people stumbling and Junebug can't get up and Tay out there acting crazy. And Lil Rod fell over the bench.
Absolutely.
Come on.
With alcohol. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. I found this to be another interesting quote from you. You're such an intelligent young lady, given all that you've been through. For you to still have your right mind is absolutely amazing. And so you said, addiction has the tendency to take the whole being of its victims hostage and whisk them to a place of no return.
Yes.
So, what do you mean by that?
It takes them into darkness. It took me into darkness. It took me into what do you call it? A place where I thought I couldn't get out. I could say it was worse than the jail. It was a dungeon. It was deep down in my darkness soul. It was the pit of hell,
And you say it disguises itself as an elixir of relaxation.
Yes.
So it's faking you, it's psyching you out.
Basically. It's psyching the people out. They thinking that they're okay. Oh, girl, boy, bye, blah blah, woo woo. It's okay. I just do a little bit at a time, and before you know it, it becomes a dependency.
Yeah, and I thought the choice of words was profound. Addiction disguises itself as an elixir of relaxation. Because we all know that Satan is a great disguiser and deceiver. He comes in many forms in many ways. So the wording, the verbiage of that is so profound and deep, just like you
I
are.
never had anybody quote me. That's awesome.
Look, man, I was I was
Oh my
going through your
God.
page. I was going through your page of your website, like, wow, this
Yeah.
woman is amazing. Like, she is so intelligent and so just full of love for your community and people,
Yeah.
wanting to help people. So that I
And I
always,
want to say I wrote that under the guidance of God.
well, that's all we can do is be a vessel, right?
And I was like, oh, that sounds good, Lord. Yeah.
And so, and it, my thing about you, as far as me, is I'm glad I don't judge the vessel, because sometimes people will judge the vessel because of their
Yeah.
past or their history or whatever, and they will kind of try to discount um, the messenger. Uh,
Yeah.
but I don't see how anybody could discount your
I
spirit,
had to get
energy.
over that, Mr. Cheeks. I mean, because
Really?
I feel like everybody, I was like, I had to get to the point like now where I'm telling it.
Yeah.
Man, I got to tell it
Yeah.
because people need to know. I don't care
Yeah.
what nobody think about me, because I could feel I can think that I feel other people's spirit like, oh, she used to be a drug addict. Look at her. She might go back. Look, her hair look bad. I think she went back to use a drug. Anything, anything. But Mr. Cheeks, when I tell you, I got to tell the world, I got to tell the world. And I'm
Yeah.
so excited that I am living to tell it.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I don't think I would go that far. That's you. You didn't get my mission. I got the message from
Yeah.
God. Tell
Yeah.
it. And
But
so when
are you?
I go around the world, because
Are
I'm a
you?
motivation, then put me out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Let
All you
me
can do,
know it.
all you can do is be obedient, right?
Huh?
All you can do is be obedient to the
Yeah,
message, right?
yes. Yeah. And that's why I go to, I get up and I go.
Yeah.
They don't pay me for this.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, them ladies be looking at me like gold is coming out my mouth.
I mean, you got some valuable nuggets you dropping,
I got
man.
something to say.
You got
I
something
got
to
a
say.
testimony to tell, and that's what I'm walking
Absolutely.
through this earth with. My
Yeah.
testimony.
Absolutely. That's all you
And I'm
can
happy to
do.
do it.
I'm happy that you're doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely happy that you're doing
And that's why
it.
I like it's called a living an abundant life. It's an
Yeah.
abundant life.
It's abundant life, and it has nothing to do with money.
No, not
Nothing.
at all.
That's the most important part to me.
Yes.
But it's not just chasing money.
I
Uh,
know. Yeah, no, it's an abundant
this
life for
is
your
another.
soul.
This is another addiction. Money can be another addiction. Uh,
Huh?
money can be another addiction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One thing I've heard about people when they're caught in the throes of addiction is that they're always chasing the euphoria of that first high. Is that true?
Yeah.
But
They
it's not.
say
Go ahead.
it's the okay, so we have dopamine in our brain, right?
Yeah.
And that dopamine gives us that natural high when you're in a balloon, when you're jumping out of a plane, when you want to climb a high mountain, that woo, you know,
Feel
you're
good.
all like
Dopamine
that.
makes you feel good.
Yeah, that adrenaline that
Yeah,
starts
yeah, yeah,
flowing.
yeah.
And what happens with the drugs is that they replace the dopamine with synthetic.
Mm,
So
okay.
this is what I think I understand. The dopamine is depleted in a way to where the drugs take over,
Right.
and the only high that it will receive is the high from the drug. It's no longer a natural high. It's no longer
Right.
woo, child. And ain't
Yeah,
none of that. It's like
yeah.
it's a fake adrenaline, but it's an adrenaline that comes with it.
Okay. So why is it important to give people hope?
Man, because if they can dream, if they got a vision or a dream of just getting off of drugs,
Mhm.
it's important that I give them some hope. It's important. Some people look at me and they be like, she too excited about being off of drugs. But you better get excited. They better get excited too. Let me tell you how you can be excited.
Yeah.
And I really am, and so, and I want people to feel what I feel. And, I'm not no psychologist, I'm not no social worker, I'm not, no, none of that. I'm just a grateful, recovered, addict who has got in tune with LaTonya and,
Hmm.
stay in contact, with the Lord a whole lot every day,
Right. Every day. You got to
every
talk
day,
to them every day.
every
Absolutely.
day. Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, you know, my producer Penny's a pastor, so I'm sure she loves to hear
Yeah.
that.
I had to do it every day. I love it. I never knew what my life, would turn out to be, but
Yeah.
it turned out to be something pretty amazing. And so I'm just grasping hold, and what I like I say, I walk in gratitude. And I walk with the Lord and I walk in gratitude.
Right.
I have the same struggles like other people, have, but it's okay,
Right.
because I'd rather be working on the solution for my normal life than
Yeah.
versus trying to figure out how to get some more crack and not be
Oh Lord.
cracked
Yeah.
up.
We don't want
You know,
that life. Yeah. We don't want that
I'm
life.
excited about life, Mr. Cheeks. I really am.
Yeah. And back to the subject of hope. Um, I had a gentleman by the name of John Hope Bryant. He said
Uh-huh.
he said that a person without hope is the most dangerous person in the world.
I heard that
They
before.
don't care about nothing. They don't care about you. They don't care what they got to do to you to
They
get what you need.
don't.
So if you peddling hope, I'm buying
I'm peddling it.
it.
Peddling hope. I'm peddling faith. I'm peddling new beginnings. I'm peddling time to design. Like these are different things that I tell my people. I got it up here, and I tell them it's time to design your life.
Yeah.
It's
Did you
time
say
to,
time to
or the
design your
road to
life?
recovery is always under construction.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
know, it's time for
That,
us to, we design our life the way it's supposed to be. And so
I like that. The road to life. No, what'd you say? The road to recovery is always under
it's
construction.
always under
I
construction.
like that. You need to make that a part of your no limit recovery. You need to make that a slogan, a T-shirt, or something.
Oh, okay.
Road to recovery
Always
is
under construction.
always.
And then I tell the people, as quoted in Matthew 27:52 through 53, you got to take off your grave clothes.
Ooh, I remember you saying that to me before.
You
Please
gotta
go
take, they
explain
gotta
that.
take off their grave clothes. When he called Lazarus from the grave, he said, hey, take the grave clothes off. Then take the grave clothes off. Because Jesus called him and he was a new person. He was already buried. Drug addiction buries us. It already stamps on our forehead dead.
Mm, mm, mm.
Keep on doing it. It's out here. It's out here. The devil told us in our face what he came to do. He came to kill, steal, destroy, and he's
There you go.
he's he's out to seek all whom he can devour. When
Yeah.
he eat you up, gobble you up, that's through drug
I
addiction.
love.
He come to kill,
And there'll be
steal,
no
and
love.
destroy. That's crack cocaine. That's alcohol. That's
Yeah.
heroin. That's fentanyl. That's cation. The drug they call what they call it. It's a new drug that's out now. They call it the zombie drug.
Oh, I heard about
And
that.
them people
Um,
and they zombies.
I can't think of the name, but I know what you're talking about.
It's called
I know.
ketamine.
Mm. And
And
it's
they
the
zombies. Over there in
they call it
Philadelphia, they just
the
walk
zombie.
like, yeah,
Mm.
horse tranquilizer. What you doing? And it's bubbling people's up and it's got a whole thing, it's awful. It's bad. So, I hope people get reached. I hope
Yeah.
thousands of people get recovery like that. Because every time you look around, You know, people is an overdose happens
Yeah.
every probably 15 minutes in the world.
Mm.
People are really dying from drug
Yeah.
addiction. I mean, just like that rapper. He's sitting up there, got all that money. Rich homie Quan.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he taking Molly's.
Yeah.
And see, they're peddling it through the
Oh
songs,
yeah.
you
Most
know,
definitely.
lean, Molly. So it's getting the
Right.
kids' heads
Right.
curious. It's like, oh,
Flocka, everything.
you know,
Yeah.
Chris Brown said it's okay to take a Molly,
Yeah.
got me buzzing, all that, and they gonna go
Yeah.
out there and drink something and lean over.
Mm.
They ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Talking about he was on the floor slobbing. Of course, you take a whole bunch of Molly's, you're gonna die. And so
Yeah.
that's why
And you just you made a very valid point about how they're pushing it through the songs and the music,
they're peddling it through the music.
and that's what young people gravitate to is the music.
Yeah,
And then they're looking at this person who's in a position of status, in a position of
yeah,
money and power,
yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, well, that's what I got to do
yeah. And
to change this."
their mind can't take that stuff. They're
Oh
not.
yeah, oh,
Their mind can't. Then here go the parent, like me. My kid died from drug addiction.
yeah,
Nowadays it's fentanyl. She
yeah.
was murdered. I didn't tell you, she was murdered. The man drug her body 3 blocks.
Wait, your daughter?
My daughter was murdered. She didn't overdose.
Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought it
No,
was.
she was out there trying to sell her body
Oh
to
no,
what you call that, to keep up with her habit.
the
And
habit,
she
right,
got,
right, right.
yeah, and he shot her in the back because she was on the block.
Yeah,
And he pulled up. And more than one person who pulled up, I mean, jumped in the car. So he got nervous or whatever. And pulled his gun out, told everybody to get out. This is how the story went. And
yeah.
as she was getting out, she got shot in the back. And the bullet ricocheted through her and bust her heart open. So he kicked her out the car. He thought he got rid of her body, but her sweater got caught in the car and he drug her 4 blocks.
Wow, that's
And of
terrible.
course, you're going to see a body behind the car. The police going to get behind them.
That's terrible.
He died a tragic death. My daughter, she died a tragic death. But the most profound part about it, though, Mr. Cheeks, is that I forgave the man that killed her.
That's deep. That's deep.
And I wish he would have got more time, but I don't,
How much time did he get?
I think he did about 10 years. Not enough.
Yeah, that's not enough.
And then he got off early. He did, because in Chicago, it was like 2 days for one day. And so that time, he really did about 5 or 6 years away from his family. And my family, they was gangster. They wanted to go kill him.
Yeah.
Trust me, I come from a gangster family.
Oh, I believe you.
And
Shot-Town in the 80s? Yeah, that's no joke.
West Side, no.
I believe every word you say, man. I got friends in Chicago right now. It's still bad.
Family, his blood was still on the hands.
Yeah.
And God bless him and his family. And I left it in God's hand. To this day, I left it. I miss you, Andrew. I can't. The Lord spoke to me at the gravesite.
Yeah.
He said, she can't come back with you, because I want to jump in the grave. It's like, he spoke to me. He said, she cannot come back where you're at, and you cannot go where she's at. And what I need for you to do is to hold on to the time that I gave you with her.
Wow.
I said, yes, Lord.
Ooh, that you hit me in my heart with that one, because I don't remember you telling me those specific details.
That's what he told me. Yeah, no, I did. I never told you. Yeah.
I'm really sorry that wow, you had to experience that.
And that's what makes me a phenomenal person.
Absolutely.
Is that I don't take my relationship with God and put it on the shelf. Right. I just want to see I
Right.
want to walk the waters with him and continue to stay with him for the rest of my life.
Okay. Absolutely. That's we all should. To be perfectly
Yeah.
honest. That's we all should. That was heavy. So I want to go back to give everyone the scripture that when you were talking about before coming out of a dead situation, or how you said, take your grave clothes off.
Yeah. They got to
Take your
take their
grave
great
clothes off.
clothes on.
That scripture was John 11, verse 40 through 44. Thank you, Pastor Penny.
Uh-huh.
It's
I
about
believe
coming.
it's also in Matthew too, because they all got accounts of
Mm, right.
that incident. But yeah. They have to take, okay, so the grave clothes, and when we're speaking about substance abuse, is shame, is guilt, it's the past, it's some heavy burdens. And we have to shed that in order to move, and we have to close these doors. We have to let God lock and close these doors, and put on peace that surpasses understanding, and put on the mindset that we can make it through this world no matter what. I tell people we have to have a no matter what and not go back to drugs.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, we got to be as powerful like every other person who believes in something.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you, Ms. Lucas, for the work that you do in the community and with helping people get off drugs. It is much, much needed in the community. So I give kudos to you. We're getting to the end of the conversation, but I did want to say that to you. And that thing you just said about Deanna it's really tugging at my heart right now. That's
What they said
absolutely
about what?
what you just said. The story that you just told about Deanna, it's really tugging at my
Oh,
heart right now.
yeah,
And so I know the strength that you have to even deal with that situation is the strength of the Creator, of the Most High God. So,
yeah.
um, let's talk about how you got into motivation speaking. How did that come about? Was it suggested to you, or it was just, I have this great testimony I want to go out and
My
share?
first time in recovery, I felt like people need to hear that they can, stay off of drugs. And so I put something together and I went out to different agencies and I started talking about staying off of drugs.
Okay,
I went to DCFS, I went to GED classes, I went to, I've always had some kind of speaking talent, about a gift, you
right.
know, in myself. And I had organized a organization called Women of Color Healing from Within. Me and a lady, we had did that. And so we held meetings and stuff like that.
Okay. Uh-oh. LaTonya? LaTonya?
Even though I had that God had laid before me. And so I wanted to get back to that. And that was motivational speaking.
Okay. And so where do you usually perform at? Schools, churches? Where do you where do you speak?
Right now I go to treatment centers.
Treatment
I want to
centers.
speak all over. Huh?
Okay. You said you go to treatment centers.
Yeah. I go
Okay.
I go where they at.
Okay.
I go to treatment centers and I tell my testimony. I talk to homeless people. I let them know that, I tell my testimony because they look at me like I don't look like them, like I don't know what they're going through. But I had to tell
Right.
you how I got here where I'm at. When I tell you I
Right.
had to navigate my way through Florida, that's what I had to do. You should have seen me looking like some black escape person coming through Florida, hot, didn't know nothing, but I refused to go back.
Yeah.
I wasn't going back. I didn't care what. I stayed. And this is what I tell people, Mr. Cheeks. I
Hmm.
tell them to stay to see the miracle.
Ooh.
They
Stay
have to
to see
stay to see
it.
the miracle.
I like that. And it
We can
is,
stay. This is
it's a
remember,
process.
we can't give up, and we can't give up just because our counselor is not talking right. And see, that's why I know what I be talking about. I can hit them where they
Yeah,
at, so they know that I've been through it, you know.
yeah.
And so I look forward to God taking me places in this journey in life.
Okay. And
This
speaking of
next
going
chapter.
places, speaking of going places, do you have any upcoming events or anywhere you're going to be speaking in Fort Lauderdale coming up anytime soon?
No, not now, not yet.
Okay, not yet.
And I've been out there. I went to a couple of treatment centers. This weekend, I mean, this past week, I gave my introduction letter, let them know who I am. I called some treatment centers, but I haven't been invited yet. But guess what, Mr. Cheeks? I'm gonna keep knocking on those.
We're gonna keep on knocking on
I'm gonna
doors.
keep knocking on those.
I'm
You
down to
know,
Fort Lauderdale now, so I'm gonna knock with
okay.
you. We already talked about we're gonna work. We're gonna get
Yeah,
this no
and so
limit
I like it,
thing.
because No Limit Recovery is lecture, drama, and music. And so I want to put some drama pieces together,
Okay,
Yeah. I want
most
to put
definitely,
some
most
drama
definitely,
pieces together. And I just want it to be, when you do anything for God, it's just like, wow,
absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
wow. Yeah.
You're right. Do you have a website or any social media you want to share with our listening audience?
Yeah, I can be reached at no limit recovery 60 at gmail.com. That's my email. I have a website that's no limit recovery.net, and I can be booked for speaking through that website. And it gives information on my mission and why am I out here continuing to let the light
If you
shine.
like shine, I love it. I love it. I love it.
To let the light shine. And this right here, this is my logo for No Limit Recovery, and that's what it is. And
Okay.
and when I explain this, there's no limit to love, there's no limit to water, there's no limit to sand on the seashore, and there's no limit to the stars in the sky. And No Limit Recovery is going around the world. And here's the lighthouse right here, the light that's out searching and looking for those who want to be encouraged to get off of drugs. And so God gave me that. So
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Can you hold up
I
the
know,
candle
snap
again?
up to Jesus.
Hold up the candle again.
Huh? Oh,
Can you
yeah,
hold
yeah,
up
yeah.
the candle again? The candle. The candle.
Oh, yes.
There we go. There we go. This little light of mine.
I'm gonna let it
I'm gonna
shine.
let it
Dark as
shine.
I am, I'm gonna let you see this light inside of me.
I absolutely love it. I love it. I love your energy. I love your spirit. I absolutely love everything that you are doing.
Can I leave you just with one of my poems? One of my poems. Do you have?
Okay. Let's close
Okay.
with the poem. Before you get to the poem, what advice do you have for young children who may be thinking about dibbling and dabbling in drugs?
Stay away. Warning, warning, warning. Stay away because drug addiction is an X slur that describes that disguises itself as I'm okay. Come and talk to me. Come and be a part of me. But it's just a big lie. That goes for the young, the old, the senior citizens, all of y'all, everybody out there. Stay. I mean, because
Everybody.
it's an epidemic in the senior citizen department too.
What? Was
Yes,
senior citizens doing drugs?
they lonely. I'm so lonely.
Oh, Lord. Really?
I'm telling you, it's across the board, Mr. Cheeks. There is no
Wow.
the drug spirit is like I want you, and you.
Everybody.
You get addicted. You get addicted.
Oh,
You get
no.
yeah.
No, no, no. Oh, no. We don't want that.
That's what the drug addiction says.
Yeah.
And they do. And they can do it in the form of pills. They can do it in the form of alcohol. The pain pills that they get, the oxycodone, They take too much. They become addicted to fentanyl is out there. This is stuff that is being put out by the pharmaceutical community. And it's
Correct.
not the one that's being made up in the lab. This
Yeah.
coming from the pharmaceutical community. And they're saying, how can we change the dosage? Oh, these people. See, I just want to say something. When crack came out on the scene, it was killing all the black folks. It was
Yep.
tearing up the whole black community and everything. When fentanyl came, little Sally and little Bobby.
Yep.
Oh, it's a problem. It's an epidemic. Ah.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
everybody needs to be saved from it. It don't make no difference.
You're right. You're right.
Maybe I wasn't supposed to say that on the show, but it's true.
No. That's a whole nother show. Getting into the pharmaceuticals and
the pharmaceutical company. Who putting the benzos out the pharmaceutical? Yeah. Who putting out all these pain pills? They selling them. Molly's, where they coming from? I don't know.
You're absolutely right. That's a whole nother show. We can get into that another day.
Yeah, right? I'll leave it alone.
We'll take 2-3 hours talking about the pharmaceutical industry. But they're not our.
Do some more research.
We'll get back to that. But all right. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you for that advice for the young people. Short and simple: stay away from the drug. Okay, it's not your friend, and it leads to a path of death and destruction. So, learn from experiences. Don't go down that path to have your own experiences. Stay away. Period. Okay.
It's the worst.
We're going to let you close out with a poem. So if you would, go right ahead, ma'am. Give us your words of wisdom.
Yes, thank you. And everybody just please remember, if you have a loved one that's addicted to drugs, you can support them by going to meetings with them. You can support them by don't give them money. I don't suggest that. If you need to feed them, and just continue to keep them up in prayer because they need it. So this poem is Goodbye Crack Cocaine. Goodbye Crack Cocaine. You and I go a long way back. I have known you for a long time. When we first met, we did not get along too good. But as the months went by, we became close friends. And then you started, and then you became my lover. I put aside all the things that matter to me, my kids, my husband, my family. Then as I did that, you started dogging me out. But I did not care. I still loved you no matter what. I went out all of my way for you. Because of you, I became hungry. I lost my weight. I let my family be taken away from me. I became homeless. I just lost everything. But still, I was in love with you. But you did not love me. You hated me and left me for dead. I hate you, crack cocaine, for what you did to me. But I found a new friend. His name is Recovery. Just as I went out all my way for you, I will go out all my way for him. He loves me very much and has shown me a new way of life. So goodbye forever. Snap it up.
Shout out to the new friend, Recovery. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
You're funny and talented.
Thank you so much.
Good job, man. Thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your story, sharing your testimony.
Yes.
Because that's a testimony.
And so if anybody would like for me to come, please go on my website and book me.
We're taking all bookings.
I'm taking all bookings, and I am amazing
coming everywhere.
Yes. I love it. I have props and everything. I go in with the whole kabam.
We're gonna work. We're gonna work.
I look forward to that. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for inviting me. I was so excited. They tried to have some kind of a meeting at work. I was like, I got to go. I don't know what y'all do. Deuces.
Right. Well, we thank you for taking the time out to share your testimony. You are a very wise and intelligent woman. You're funny, you're talented. And I commend you for the work that you do. Kudos, and continue to let your light shine. Man.
I will,
Thank
and
you
you continue to
very
let your
much.
shine through your acting and interviewing. Amazing man you are. And thank you, Miss Penny.
What was your email again? Ms.
No
Lucas?
Limit Recovery 60@gmail.com.
No Limit Recovery 60. 60. Right.
Yes,
No Limit Recovery 60 at Gmail.
yes. And my
Thank you.
webpage is nolimitrecovery.net.
NoLimitRecovery.net.
And that should pop up. And please don't forget to go to my YouTube channel.
What
That's no limit recovery too. Yeah.
Everything is No Limit Recovery.
Everything no limit recovery because there's no limit to recovery. Just let's get with it.
Absolutely.
Yes. Please
Before we go, thank you again, Ms. Lucas. Thank you for our listening audience. And before we go, I have to give my Scholar of the Week today. He was one of my Scholars of the Week last year, but he had another huge accomplishment this year, so I'm calling him out again. Today's Scholar of the Week goes to He-Man Bekele from Fairfax, Virginia. He was named Time Magazine Kid of the Year at 15 years old. And he's named Time Kid of the Year because last year, when I made my Scholar of the Week, he had just won a $25,000 scholarship for inventing a soap that could one day treat and prevent multiple forms of cancer. So that is what He-Man Kelly is working on. Shout out to him for being a young scientist in the STEAM area.
Yes.
And not being in STEAM, but he's making great strides in STEAM, so much so that Time recognized him as Time Kid of the Year. So shout out to He-Man Bekele. I wish you the best in the future. Thank you again to my guest, Ms. LaTonya Lucas, and thank you to our listeners for being here. We have one more show next month. I believe it's going to be the week before Thanksgiving, and that will close us out for the 2024 year. But we'll be back in January. So thank you again for your support. And until next time, peace and blessings. November 19th, I'll see you November 19th.
Okay.
Peace and blessings. Thank you very much.